Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another SAT Solve Live. Today, I'll be going over the digital SAT practice test number 8. If some of you have missed the news, it's February of 2025, and College Board has repurposed practice tests 1 through 3 for practice tests 8 through 10, 8, 9, and 10. I don't know the ratio of new questions to old questions. I don't think it should be a majority of questions that are old or reused, but we'll see what happens. So I'll be going over practice test 8. I may have seen some of these questions before through practice tests 1, 2, and 3. We'll see how I deal with them. If you're watching this as a live stream, welcome. I'm going to encourage you to just ask me any questions that you have in the chat. I won't be able to answer them right away, but I can review them during the breaks between the modules and after the 2 modules. If you're watching this as a replay, then I suggest you look at my video description because I have keyboard shortcuts that I think you should just learn for YouTube that you can use to speed up or slow down or skip between the chapters in my YouTube video. All right, so this whole point of this series is to just show you how I work through problems even when I'm not sure of the answer. It will be my first time seeing basically all of these questions, assuming that they weren't reused. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to see me make even a mistake and see how I recover from that mistake if I do at all. On practice test 7, I did make 2 mistakes. I think I was a little too talky and I was not respecting the test enough up front so that I kind of wasted time just throughout the modules. So today I'm going to be a little bit more serious. I'm going to maybe talk a little less and just think out loud a little less so I can focus more on actually solving the questions and being accurate so that I can get back to getting that 800 and showing you what it looks like to get an 800. All right, so that's it for me. Let's get going on practice test number 8 in the Blue Book app. By the way, if you haven't solved it already, I do recommend that you solve it before watching the stream if you don't want to spoil the questions. Okay, also just a quick reminder, I'll only be doing the reading and the writing. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, this has never happened before. Let me try that again. On another device? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, troubleshooting. So I don't know what's happening. They might have updated the app to behave differently. So I'm gonna test something. Okay, I'm gonna unplug my iPad and see if it acts differently if I'm unplugging it. 1 second. Nope, it's still broken. So I'm gonna just reopen. I'm gonna force quit and reopen Blue Book. I have to log in first, so I'm not gonna show you my screen yet. But once I log in, okay, I'm sharing my screen again. So weird. This has never happened before. Let's see what happens now. SAT, practice test 8. Let's go. Oh, okay. That was like a weird, just client app bug. All right, so annoying little troubleshooting out of the way. Let's go into the actual test now. Ace Hulk, good to see you. All right. So again, you guys can respond or say whatever you're thinking in real time, but I will not really be able to do full responses until after the module is over. I might still notice what you say and then still shout you out, like do a quick 1 or 2 word reply, but I won't do full on explanations of anything. Okay, here we go. Number one, as Mexico, I have seen this, has become one of the most significant, yes, significant Coldbacks are made of. Oh, dude, no. This is made of, handmade from. Okay, I've seen both of those questions. Is best known a collaboration? I've seen this question before too. Oh no. I've seen this question before too. His influence was hardly limited to Spain because other people around the world. Wait, whoa, that's so hard to use. Anyway, limited to, confined to. Okay, is avoidable because of this word here. Avoidable is my prediction. Okay, well, this is annoying. Preventable. This is annoying because right now, out of 5 questions, I've seen all of them before. So we'll see. Companies are providing consumers, this feels more new, consumers with more opportunities to purchase customized products than ever before. Customized products, got it. Whether buying customized sneakers or design, we can participate in design. In turn, companies profit too. They're willing to pay more and wait longer for a customized product. Still, okay, concession. It can be difficult for companies to offer customization while keeping costs low. Yeah, okay, there we go. Overall structure of the text. Oh, perfect. First time I've seen this question. Companies are doing something and then they go into a benefit and then they go into a concession. Trend, okay, how the trend both benefits and poses a challenge. That's correct. Don't need to read A and C and D, A and B and D, I mean, because I basically predicted exactly that. Cycle. There shall be new roads wending, a new beating of the drum. Men's eyes shall have fresh seeing, gray lives reprise their span. Okay, so new beginnings, but then old people are kind of scanning back over their lives. But under the new sun's being, completing what night began, there will be the same backspending, same sad feet. And when this night finds its ending, and day shall. Okay, so basically, yeah, new days, but new toils, new turmoils. Purpose is to, I guess, initially to set up the hope of a new start, and then to emphasize the cyclical, going back to cycles, going back to the title, right? The title says cycle. The cyclical nature of our sufferings, our toil, our labors. Okay. And then I really hate this answer choice. The word challenging is such a stupid word choice, but it's the only one that actually works. Yes, I am doing this from memory because I've seen this question many, many times. This is gonna make this it's gonna make this whole stream a little lamer when I've seen so many of these questions before, because a lot of these are reused from practice tests 1 through 3. The NCP appeared to rotate. Okay, wait. The fixed point around which the stars appear to rotate. Oh, okay. It's discernible at night. That's interesting. Inspired by strategies of insects and birds. Skylight polarization. Okay. Atmosphere by scatter sunlight. Okay, got it. That's during the daytime. Okay. We can see it during night. Now we're trying to do something to see it during the daytime. We're using a special camera that rotates. And kind of using the changes over time. And we can calculate the NCP. All right. All right, so a limitation is the first part, and then we use the inspiration. We get the inspiration, and then we get to the camera and the mechanism. Okay. Obstacle, navigation, animals, and inspired. Okay. Optical device, perfect. Okay, I didn't need to read A, C, and D, A, B, and C. I just could go straight to D. Once I found that word that I was looking for, which was obstacle, which was limitation in my prediction, right? Super, like, so that was a new question for me. So, but I could avoid the process elimination quite a bit there. Culinary anthropologist Vertime S.G., maybe known for her decades of, but her book is most influential. This is an unusual book. It did very different genres. It was long admired by many. The main idea of the text is that her book is influential because it was all of this stuff below. It was like an unusual blend of genres. Unconventional book is it is important. It's down here. So I think that's correct. It's funny. I kind of forgot the answer choices here. No, it's definitely A though. Okay. All right, The Tempest. This seems new to me. I think this is a new question for me. Miranda has lived on an island with her father Prospero since she was 3 years old. Prospero stated that Miranda likely does not remember anything other than her life on the island. Oh, sorry. I'm just zoning out. Sorry, Tempest. Miranda. Prospero. 3 years old. Got it. Tis far off. And so she doesn't know about life outside. And rather like a dream, not an assurance, that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women that once that tended me. Okay. Thou hast some more, Miranda. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? Uh, Before you came here, if you remember anything before you came here, how you came here, you may. If you remember anything before you came here, you might remember how you came here. So Prospero is just surprised that Miranda even remembers she had like 4 or 5 servants. And Prospero's point is that you actually have more than 4 and 5. And I guess I'll start with that prediction. Okay, none of this really connects to that prediction, I think. So my new prediction now is, it's surprising that you remember this. You should be remembering how you got here. Okay. Okay. Nope. Nope. Doubt. Nope. Suggestion maybe to someone. Yeah. Okay. That's exactly it. Done. Ooh, that's a fun one. That must have been hard for a couple of you guys. Yeah. Students criticizes some historians have evaluated PL primarily as a symbol, not in terms of his actions. Got it. So basically, it's like a historian. So this is a quotation by a historian. So the historian has to be like, oh, he is a symbol. PL is a symbol. Is that kind of weird? Correct? Well, here we go. Not his actions. It's the personification. That's a symbol. All right. This was a hard one. I have to remember how this works. Hypothesized that a decline in the population DS led to a decline in the population of EO. So DS leads to less EO. DS do not usually eat EO, but they eat cow-nose rays. Okay, so if you decrease the DS, then you increase the CR. And then if you increase the CR, then you decrease the EO. CR have increased as does. Now this one I did partly do from memory just because I remember yeah, I remember the wording of the correct answer, so this is the correct answer. But anyway, the reasoning is counter's rays goes up because dusky sharks have stopped eating them, and then therefore the cow-nose rays are eating the oysters. Hadestown, I think this is new to me. Off Broadway, 2016. Then on Broadway in 2019. Praised the 2019 one. However, he had seen the earlier version and had found the storytelling to be very confusing. So this suggests that in Green's view, there's two predictions I have. It could go either way. Either Green thinks that the 2019 version improved on the previous version, or Green is admitting that he understands it now better, that he is seeing it a second time. And for me, either of those are doable. I do think the former is probably more the SAT style answer. Here we go. Fewer opposite, off topic. Ooh. I mean, I guess this is it, but now I have to do proclamation. Fewer, that's opposite, okay. Production is off topic. Less enjoyable. I mean, that's, I guess, okay. Fine. Fine. Thank you. Thank you, College Board, for such an easy set of answers to eliminate. But, that was a weird one. We have some artifacts recovered from KK from the 13th century. And these artifacts may support claims that the settlement was founded in or before the 13th century. Got it. There's other evidence, however, strongly supporting, which is different from just may lend credence, strongly supporting a 14th century founding, which is afterwards. So if Kulokata was founded in the 14th century, then the artifacts were not from Kulokata, maybe from a previous civilization. Right? Okay. Okay, so that is the correct answer from because I remember it. But let me just eliminate too general. Okay, Kulokata off topic. The focus is wrong. Excavations at Kulokata may have damaged. Oh, dude, no. Okay. That's just yeah. Got it. I'm feeling awkward about how to do the stream when they're reusing so many questions. I was totally wrong. I was hoping that they would reuse maybe, I don't know, 1/4. Like 1/4 of the questions would be maybe reused and the remaining 3/4 would be like new, but it's not the case. I've only seen like 2 or 3 new questions. Birds ingest foods containing C's, which get converted into colors. Colors go up in males because C's, but then also C leads to H. C leads to health. So C leads to health, but it also leads to color saturation. And therefore, the color saturation becomes a proxy for the health. However, males in several species of the R, which is it's a very specific species, use microstructures to manipulate, creating the appearance of deeper saturation without having to maintain the Cs. Therefore, the findings suggest that these guys are not being an honest signal, are not an honest signal of health. They just have the artificial trappings of health. They have this color saturation. Wrong. It's the opposite. I need to find a male tanager that is an R tanager may be dishonest. May be dishonest. I think I predicted this one last time too when I solved this. All right, here we go. Question 16. Oh, wait, I don't need to predict for grammar. By the end of the 1990s, the organization had doubled. By the end, had doubled. He depicted 2 woodcuts, got it. In 2019, the 2 woodcuts were exhibited alongside 150 other. Okay. The city of Pompeii continues to be studied, unfortunately, as researchers with no comma attest. Okay, journalists have dubbed him the Godfather Rap. Himself resisted the Godfather nickname, however. However, he resisted the Godfather nickname, feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion. The moniker he preferred. Okay. Yeah. Remember that you can move that however around you can move it to the beginning of the sentence and it still makes sense. Over 20 years ago, in a landmark experiment in the psychology of choice. Oh, I think this is new. The number of jams available for tasting varied. Okay. Because some had 24, others only 6. Sociologists, TG, co-opted the term recombinant to describe TV. The use of the term referenced as new content. In that era, even shows that varied only slightly still attracted sizable audiences. Okay. That was new to me, so I took a little bit more time to make sure I wasn't making a dumb mistake. Although those who migrated to California in 1849 dreamed of finding gold nuggets in stream beds, they were far. Oh wait, this is logical transition. As a result, by 1852, many gave up. So it was beyond the reach, so they gave up. Consequently, by 1852, they gave up. Mexican chemists MM and FSR discovered that CFCs were harmful. Their research was extremely influential in the fight against CFCs. In fact, or ultimately, it laid the foundation. In fact, indeed, specifically also works. It's not my prediction, but it also works. Okay, Alaska was the 49th, and Hawaii was the 50th, and we had a new 50-star U.S. flag in 1959. Get it. The order, which is Alaska first, Hawaii next. Okay. I mean, I guess this is the only one, right? All right. I mean, for these, I guess I probably should just commit to just reading the thing first. Contrast the emissivity of RMF with SCF. Here we go. He analyzed emissivity and emissivity, I guess, emissivity. RMF, no heat, very low emissivity. Okay. Just get the numbers. Here we go. Yep. We got the numbers. I think that might have been my first time seeing that. A misconception in the naming of a place. So we're going to name this place California. I do remember this one. fictional island in California, in the novel called California. And then in Spanish Explorers, they learned about island. This is a misconception, but it's actually not an island, it's a peninsula. Okay. So they thought California was an island. That's the misconception. Therefore, they named it after California from the novel. Thinking it was an island, they called the peninsula California after an island in a novel. There we go. Perfect. Wants to emphasize the aim, the purpose. So what are they trying to do? Most of the moon's oxygen comes from the sun, but not all. Some of the non-sun oxygen could be coming from Earth. So this is the purpose. He is wondering, the purpose, the aim of the study is to figure out where it's coming from. So wondered if moon, there we go. Set out to determine. So the reason I didn't like B is because of before 2008, which is like a super awkward thing. We want to emphasize the aim of the research study. So this is just sort of random background knowledge, background information. Yeah, this is correct. And that is module 1 with 11 minutes left with me just talking more. So earlier at the very beginning of this stream, I said that I would talk less and focus more on just solving the questions. But it turns out that the majority of the questions are ones that I've seen before. So that's making me feel kind of awkward about how to proceed, because if I do just sort of shut up and focus more on, I mean, I wouldn't totally shut up. I would still say enough so that you know what I'm thinking. But if I were to do this like a regular stream, then it would be kind of boring, right? Because I've already solved a lot of these questions before in practice tests 1, 2, and 3. But flip side, the thing is that people who are just starting to study the SAT now, you guys have never solved practice tests 1, 2, and 3. So this is like your first time seeing these questions. So that's really weird, because ideally for you guys, right? If you've never solved practice tests 1, 2, and 3, for you guys, you probably want me to, like, it would be beneficial for you if I could pretend that I've never seen these questions before. But that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this stream. This whole stream is supposed to be me showing you my first time ever solving a question. So I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because the purpose of this stream doesn't match with the needs of the audience because of the circumstances of the test. They designed it. The circumstances of the test, or of this task, is that I'm solving a test that was designed with a bunch of reused questions. The need for you guys, for anyone who has not solved practice test 1, 2, and 3, is to see somebody who can explain or show how they solve a question when they're seeing it for the first time. And for me, it's just confusing. I can't pretend that I've not seen this before. So it's just strange. So let me go back to Ace Hulk's question really quickly. And then I'll chew on this thought for a second. But Ace Hulk, you were saying that you did this one yesterday, got 5 questions wrong, but you guess that's because you... So I'm guessing you did better than usual. All right. How much harder do you think this was? How much harder I think practice test was than this? Practice test 7 was than 8. I mean, I've only solved module 1, and module 1 is not the hard one, so it's hard to make a judgment right now because, it's just module 1 right now. But it feels easier, but maybe that's mainly because I've just seen these questions before. It's hard to be objective about this kind of thing. It's just so... I've just seen them before. What am I... So what am I supposed to show you? What am I supposed... it just feels easier because I already know a lot of the answers. So, I don't know. What should I do? Should I pretend that I haven't seen it before and just try to just try to act it out. I guess I could do that. But the only problem with doing that is that it becomes really artificial. So my time management becomes really weird when I do that. Because I do act it out in my classes, but my classes don't have to be solved within 32 minutes, right? Classes I have, they're multiple hours. So, yeah, I guess the best answer right now is I should act out how I would solve the questions. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's go. Well, that's module 1. Let's go to module 2. Okay, in the indigenous intercropping system known as the Three Sisters, MSB form a web of relations that is maybe symbiotic because maize helps the bee and S helps the other two and the bee helps the other two. So mutually beneficial, symbiotic, intricate works just because it's just like multiple layers. Yeah. All right. So right now I'm no longer gonna. By the way, I'm just no longer gonna comment whether I've seen these questions before or not. I'm just gonna pretend I've never seen them and kind of act out how I would solve them. Okay. But if you want the true first time I've seen them, then you're gonna have to rewatch my practice test 1, 2, and 3 videos. All right. For her 2021 art installation anthem, Wu Tsang joined forces with singer composer in BGC. Cool. To produce a piece that critics found truly something, as in truly transformative and maybe innovative and interesting and inventive. The claim about the relationship between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens is blank because it fails. It's unconvincing. Unconvincing, the opposite of convincing. Tenuous. There we go. SH's... Wait, what? He rejects the tendency to situate native characters in the distant past. This rejection is evident in reservation dogs, where they are very contemporary, not in the distant past. So he rejects. Oh, wait, recants? All right. Recant is something you do for something that you have. So that's definitely a usage question. Repudiate and recant are synonyms, but which one is the better? Which one has the correct usage? Okay, so that's A. Zora Neale Hurston, 1921. John Redding is a child who lives in a town in the woods. Got it. He's a funny kid. He's imaginative. He daydreams. There's a river with lots of plants and lots of hyacinths, like little flowers, float. Millions of them float. And the daydreamer, loves to wander down to the water's edge, and he throws in the twigs and watches them sail away, and he wanted to follow them. What? I don't think the original passage said, and he wanted to follow them, did it? Make it easier? Made it way easier. Anyway, this is just an illustration of a claim about John, which is that he is a daydreamer, and he and then, yeah. So this is almost the correct answer, but no, it's not imagination, actually. Imagination is the wrong word, and then there's no comparison, so only D makes sense. All right. When companies in the same industry want to merge, they claim that mergers will increase efficiency and decrease price. Excuse me. Okay. She modeled a merger of these newspapers, and actually the prices went up, which is the opposite of efficiency and lower price. Okay. And DF, FB, FP have argued that research has been too short term. And short term effects tend to be negative, as in the prices tend to go up. Over the long term, the efficiency gains eventually do result in lower prices for customers or consumers. So they would most likely say, hey, study longer, do a more long term study. And then they would recommend fan compare the near term. Oh, different market. Over the long term, the expenses, okay, projected effect on subscription prices, extended period. There we go. That is correct. Interesting. A and B both have some of the words that I predicted, but so they kind of misled me. It's only C that is fully matched with my prediction, which is that they would want fan to do the study for the long term. Yeah, they are. A lot of these are reused from 1 through 3. Actually, basically all of these so far have been reused from practice test 1 through 3. So right now I'm just pretending I've never seen them before. Satirical novel S&B, 1889. A Crowd, The Warden, Lord Chancellor. Got it. We got The Warden and The Crowd. One man who was more excited than the rest flung his hat. Who roar for the sub-warden, which is maybe a different person. Probably a different person. Everybody roared, but it wasn't clear whether they were roaring for a sub-warden. Maybe some of them were doing bread or taxes or whatever. It was kind of just chaos. So the warden is looking across the shoulder to the Lord Chancellor, and he's saying, wow, what can it all mean? I've never heard such shouting before. And with such unanimity. Okay. So he's responding to the crowd by being a little baffled, by being a little overwhelmed, and by saying they're so unanimous, even though they're not actually unanimous, but they are all shouting. So I guess that could mean two different things. Depends on that. He asked about the meaning of the shouting, even though he claims to know. Nope, off topic. He indicates a desire to speak. Nope. Sympathy for the crowd. Nope. United. Unanimous, even though they're not unanimous. They're chaotic. Okay. Political orientation and political information and probability of voting. Probability voting over here, the political orientation over here. We have Democrats on the left, Republicans on the right. And if you give them high information, they would probably vote more. That's correct. High information always votes more than low information. Here we go. Using survey data, they claim that the likelihood of voting is driven by their confidence. Basically, if they know more, if they have high information, they are more likely to vote. Okay, that's exactly what I predicted. So high information across the board always votes more than low information. At each point across the board, high information, that is correct. I do not need to read B, C, and D because that's exactly what I predicted. All right, here we go. Estimate of T byte force. Okay. So there are 4 studies in 4 different years, which are not chronological order for some reason. And we have a bunch of random numbers right now, so I'm just going to move on because I can't see any trends. The largest T, I don't think we have different T's here. Yeah, we only have, okay. The largest T's, TA and TR, are thought to have the strongest bytes. Determining the byte force is difficult. And, right, because some of them are super big. The mirror's byte force is 183,000 at minimum, and then the Gignac and Ericsson byte force is 34,000 maximum, which is insanely different. So we're suggesting that the estimate may be oh, interesting. It's the methodology that matters. So let's look at the methodology. And you know what we're seeing here? We're seeing that the methodology comes up twice of muscular and skeletal modeling, and that's the one kind of in the middle. And they kind of agree with each other. And they definitely do not agree with the other two, which are extreme. They're very extreme. Okay, so muscular and skeletal modeling are very similar to each other, whereas the other two are very extreme, and that's my prediction because that's how the methodology is making an influence. So, what's muscular and skeletal? Okay, so my prediction was muscular and skeletal. Highest is incorrect. I'm looking for muscular and skeletal. Okay, it's annoying because they just using the names now, so I have to repredict. So I'm gonna say Cost and Bates and Falcon. So CBF. I'm looking for CBF. BFC. Okay, similar to each other, while the others were substantially different. That is correct. Okay. So my prediction didn't really directly lead me to it because I was focusing more on the name of the methodology, whereas the answer choices were focusing on the names of the authors. So I had to go and repredict. When digging for clams, the sea otters damage the roots of plants. Okay, wait. They're sea otters and clams and eelgrass plants. Sea otters, they're large, but weirdly, the eelgrass is also healthy. So there's a lot of sea otters, but there's also a lot of eelgrass. That's strange because the otters maybe they don't eat clams, right? So why would the eelgrass be healthier? So they compared the healthy Vancouver Island ones to other meadows with no otter influence. So if there's a place with no otter influence, you would expect the eelgrass to be even healthier. But it turns out that the Vancouver Island meadows have a more diverse gene pool. The meadows, as in the plants, have more diverse gene pool. Is that the same thing as healthier? Okay, so this is a lot. It's a lot to process right now. So we're hypothesizing that the damage to the eelgrass roots. So the sea otters are damaging the eelgrass because they are eating the clams, I guess. And that increases the plants, the eelgrass rate of sexual reproduction, which then boosts genetic diversity, which then benefits the health. So apparently the damage actually counterintuitively, it actually increases meadow health. Okay, so we were trying to undermine the hypothesis. Wow, that's insane. So now we need to say, actually, when the otters are eating the clams and that damages the eelgrass roots, it doesn't improve the sexual reproduction, and it doesn't improve the genetic diversity, or that doesn't improve the meadow's health. Okay, so this is complicated. There's a lot of things we could say. At some sites in the study, found is just off topic. At several sites not included in the study. Okay, that's just off topic because we want eelgrass meadows. We're talking about eelgrass right now. At several sites not included in the study, eelgrass meadows' health goes down when you increase. But this is not the hypothesis. The hypothesis is down here. How do I do that? Okay. right? Well, let me just. The hypothesis says when you damage the eelgrass roots, you're going to increase the reproduction. Here, with the health. Well, no, I guess this could make sense because this is going the opposite direction because damage to eelgrass roots is equal to the otters. So I guess that could make sense. At some sites in the study, I'm going to just check D. The health of plants that are unrelated to eelgrass, that's off topic. Wait, so these are all off topic. Yeah, we want eelgrass meadows. Just found is ridiculously okay. So this is the only answer as possible, because basically this is saying the hypothesis is saying that when you have otters, you damage the roots, and when you damage the roots, you improve the health. And here it says in a different study, like in different areas, you'll actually see the opposite finding. Okay, so basically the finding is only applicable to your studies and not to other studies. That's a complicated one. It's funny because, by the way, I did pretend that I've never seen this before. But even though I was pretending I've never seen this before, like even reread, even though I have seen this before, it's still kind of confusing. Like that was like legitimately confusing. Um, all right, ethnographers made a concerted effort to collect Mexican American folklore, but they did not always agree about the origins. Okay. So they're getting all these stories, but they don't agree where the stories came from. AE claims that they came from Spain, which ruled Mexico. Okay. AP argued that, yeah, Spain, but also Mexico, US. Okay, so we're trying to support Paredes, so we just need to say Mexico and US. Spain. What? This one says recent, so let me focus on because earlier it said 16th to 19th. So 16th to 19th is for Spain, but I see. It says ongoing for Mexico and the United States. So ongoing is recent. And so that's funny because none of these said Mexico and the States, because that's what I was looking for. So this is not matching my prediction, but it says recent, so that basically means Mexico and the United States. All right, I'm still at question 12. I have 15 minutes left. Okay, it's getting, maybe I'm talking a little too much. We'll see. Average, oh, I've never seen this one before, for real. Okay, survival of fruit flies following infection. Type A flies actually are very hardy, but A, B, and B flies die to 0% after 2 weeks. Wow. Okay. So um, these two genes. I'm kind of skipping the first half, really. Subjects included flies identified for mutations silencing DPTA-B or both AB. I see. So if you silence A, apparently, then it's amazing. Okay, so in conjunction with the observation that, but it's not simple. Okay, so that part is already got, but is not significantly affected by DPT activity. Got it. Not significantly affected because they still die. Okay, I need to double check A. Cicerae. Oh, this is talking about PR. I see. Ah, I see. So A. Cicerae is data in the graph of A array suggests that actually you really need the DPT. You really need DPT-B, okay? Because if you silence DPT-B, then you get screwed. Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough one. Really good. Yeah, DPTB is super important. Is according to that graph. Okay, that's a tricky one. That's a fun one. All right. Some economists have attributed the increasing adoption of automation technology. Good. Okay, like machines, basically. In part to because of the productivity gains. Okay, but DA showed that the productivity gains are tiny. Plus, there's a disparity in the tax code between the technology and the labor. Technology is depreciating, meaning that if you invest in technology, you actually reduce the tax. Okay. Together, these findings suggest that actually it's not the productivity gains that we should attribute the adoption to. We should tax it to. We should adopt it to. We should attribute it to tax benefits. Nope. Opposite. Indirectly incentivizes firms to adopt technology. Okay, this is absolutely correct because indirectly incentivizes is through tax. Because I'm good at econ, so I know that this means tax. So I can just move on, honestly, and on the real test, I really would move on. Plus, I don't have a lot of time left. Ooh, another hard one. A new one, I mean. Echinoderms, which are invertebrates with radial symmetry, okay, star-like. These are weird. The weirdness of these E's impedes comparisons with most other animals because they're hard to compare, okay? Because we usually have a linear axis. Sea stars are very weird because they evolved a headless layout from a known bilateral origin. So they had a bilateral symmetry originally. Genomic knowledge of SK acornworms. They observed activity only in anterior genes. What are anterior genes? Anterior and posterior, head to tail. P. miniata's entire body, and some posterior genes limited to the edges. What kind of activity are they looking for? Applying genomic knowledge and to have close markers of anatomical regions to body patterning genes, patterning activity. The sea stars limited to the edges. Okay, slightly confusing, but okay. And the activity is only in anterior genes across the entire body and some limited to the edges. Got it. Okay. So suggesting that maybe the fact that the posterior genes limitations somehow affect the starness, the headless layout. Posterior genes, genetic makeup. That's kind of a strange wording, but I'll keep reading. Active at the perimeter are responsible for the star-like layout that distinguishes sea stars radial from that of other echinoderms, which is off topic. Okay. Contrary to belief that they evolved from what? Okay. Although the two species are closely related, there's only mirrors. Okay, wait, what? Rather than undergoing changes resulting in the eventual elimination of a head region. Completely lack a trunk. Primarily of a head region. thought to have evolved the headless layout from a known bilateral origin. Dude, this is messing me up. But also, I talked way too much when I was acting, and I predicted this problem. I talked way too much, so I have very little time. Okay. Okay, I'm going to just go through process elimination right now for the best that I can. Contrary to the belief that they evolved from early ancestors with the bilateral forms that originated with the atypical body layout, that's just completely off topic. Although the two species are closely related, there's only minutes. We don't even know. No, okay. I'm just choosing dog through process elimination. But A2, despite the great prevalence of the anterior changes, sea stars' genetic makeup, okay. The star-like layout distinguished from other echinoderms. I mean, there is a bit of a distinguishing factor, which is up here at the particularly puzzling bit. But this assumption is really off topic. Like, we don't have that assumption. Elimination of a head region? No, they just... Wait, no, it is there. Headless layout? From a in their radial body plan? Activate only in the anterior genes, so this is primarily... Okay, now I have to just go by vibes at this point because this is extremely confusing for me and I didn't give myself a lot of time. Yeah, that seems like the opposite of what I want, A. So I'm just going to go with D. I'm not going to look back. That's just the end for me. All right. Now I'm going to not talk very much so I can just finish this. And this whole pretending I haven't seen these questions before is messing me up. Interest is expanding because of, many of whom study this mechanism, many study this mechanism to better understand. Okay, cool. Researchers studying magnetic sensation. So I have to discern why some move in opposite when searching for food. In the northern, it goes, but in the southern, it goes down. Okay, yeah. And that's the reason. Yep. As cheese-making practices spread through Europe and Asia, milk emerged. Whereas this became key there, that became key there. Okay. What's up, Naj? Walt Whitman's Leaf of Grass first appeared as a slim collection, but these extensive changes, including the addition of 100 new poems, the removal, and reflected, yeah. English poet and contemporary John Donne's works were much admired, and in the decades that followed, had wait, hang on. Works much admired, and in the decades that followed. Okay, yeah. In his life and in the decades that followed, works had been essentially gathering dust for 250 years. Okay, got it. Researchers studying the army were shocked to realize that the shape of each statue's ears, the shape is unique. The shape of each statue's ears is unique. Okay. A firefly uses these muscles to draw oxygen, triggering a reaction to produce a glow. So when they stop, therefore, if they stop drawing the oxygen, in conclusion, it's kind of funny, but okay. Yeah, but that is, wait, by contrast. Wait, what? Uh, well, it's definitely not these two. In contrast, I guess that is in contrast. Yeah, by contrast, because they're using it to draw, and then it results. By contrast, when it in conclusion, well, that's a weird one actually. Like that is weird. All right, and then approaching the IRA, I'm partly panicking because I'm like I gave myself so little time. Okay. Upon first approaching the thing, one might assume a deep hole filled with life-size classically styled sculptures that open in the street. However, he merely created. But contrary to your expectations, on the contrary, yeah. We are trying to emphasize the distance covered by the pike, and the distance covered by the single pike is 62 miles long. 62-mile long is the only one that even mentions the distance, so that is that. The woman and the vote format advantage is the woman and the vote format advantage. Interactive online format. So what's the advantage? Interactive digital. A click. Controlled experience. Okay. That's the advantage. Just double checking. Yep, controlled experience. We're trying to refute a claim that malapportionment favors small districts. This is new to me. Malapportionment is common. $169. Okay, it includes land as part of it. Less popular with large tracts of land receive a disproportionate shades. Okay. Favors, right, so that's the last bullet point. And that is the opposite of small urban districts. Okay, that's correct. The student wants to present a study on the methodology. So we're trying to save energy but we didn't understand the physics. So the methodology is using computer simulations to figure out the energy savings. Computer simulations, that is correct. I have 15 seconds. Emphasize the aim of the research study. So investigate whether woodland expansion is related to changes in climate. Okay, and that is the aims. Wow, I had no time. Whew. Those are my final answers for all of them, but wow, okay, I said this at the beginning of the second module. I said that if I pretend that I haven't seen these questions before, then I may end up talking too much. And then if that happens, then I may end up having to rush on time. And that's literally exactly what happened. It messed me up. But I still feel there were two questions that kind of messed me up. One of them was because it was my first time seeing it, and it was also a really hard one with a lot of background. Like, I'm just not that familiar with biology, so that C-star one just really messed me up, okay? That was a hard question, and ultimately, I don't think I made a choice that I would change, so I didn't really need the extra time. Plus, I think you probably noticed I spent a lot of time on it in the first place. So I'm at peace with the decision I made with the amount of time I had, okay, with that one. But the other one that kind of messed me up was the by contrast one, which weirdly is one that I have seen before, but that in conclusion is so verbally awkward, but it is closer to what I predicted. So I actually did want a little bit more time on that one to just go and reread it and see if I was just like tripping, you know. I wanted to reread that because it feels like I might have misread something that kind of threw me down the wrong path. But I do feel pretty confident that by contrast was the correct answer for that question as well. This was a really weird stream. It was a really weird stream because I've seen almost all of the questions before, except for maybe like less than, I think like 8 or fewer questions. maybe 6 questions or something like that were totally new to me, out of 54. So the vast majority of them were questions that I have seen before. So then in module 1, I just said, "Hey, I've seen this before," and then I just like kind of briefly read it and then recall what the prediction is, and then I'll just choose the right answer. And I think that during module 1, I thought, well, that's probably not a very good stream. Like, it's not that useful for you to watch somebody who just remembers the answer. So then in module 2, I tried to change it up. I tried to pretend I've never seen the questions before so that you could at least follow my thought process. Even though it's kind of acting. But then the problem with that was that it ended up with me just talking too much, and that messed me up with time management. So it's a hard balance. But for practice tests 9 and 10, I'm gonna do the same approach that I did for module 2. I'm gonna pretend I haven't seen the questions before, even if I have seen them, and kind of show you my thought process as it unfolds, or how it should unfold. But if you really, really, really want to see the actual first time that I've seen those questions, you need to go back to practice tests 1, 2, and 3 and just solve them on your own. And watch how I actually solved them for the first time in my life there. Okay, so all those comments out of the way, let me actually show you my score. So I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna log into College Board real quick and show you my score once I'm logged in. What's up, Philip? How was practice test 8? We're about to see in just a second. Okay. So hopefully I didn't make any mistakes in module 2, despite the stupid time crunch that was like self-inflicted, and I did get that perfect on practice test 8. Which again, it's like hard to give myself too much credit when I've already seen most of these questions before. Hopefully I made no incorrect answers. I made no incorrect answers. That is correct. I got 54 out of 54, 0 incorrect answers. So all of them were correct. Let me just show you the 2 questions that I was tripping on. Let me just hide the correct answer explanation. So this one was a fun one. I really liked 12. 12 was a great question. This one, I mean, I'm strong on economics, but if you're not strong on economics, you probably could not solve it as quickly as I could. But yeah, the whole idea of indirect incentives. But this one, because I'm weak on biology, this was rough. So apparently I got the correct answer, but what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to just reread the entire paragraph and just like settle my brain, because previously I was under time pressure, so it was kind of like messing me up. So I'm actually going to ignore the answer choices right now and just reread this. Moosh, thanks for saying that. I'm glad that I could help. So let me just quickly go through this real quick. So echinoderms are weirdos. Got it. And compared to echinoderms, they're just strange. We can't really compare them, because other animals have bilateral symmetry. They have like a head to tail, and that head to tail is an anterior posterior axis. And they usually have a trunk, like the belly, right? The belly and the back. All right. So far, so good. Sea stars are echinoderms. You can tell because of this particularly puzzling transition, which is, I tried installing this thing and now it's just bothering me. How do I turn this off? Can I disable? Can I disable right now? Hide until next visit. All right, there we go. My bad. So particularly puzzling. These are echinoderms, and they evolved the headless layout from a known bilateral origin, or we think they evolved the headless from a known bilateral origin, which is this. So that's me. I'm just imagining. Oops, what happened to the? Okay, right now I'm imagining the 5 legs of a sea star, and one of them is like or maybe 2 of them together are like one bilateral trunk and axis or something like that, right? It's kind of strange, but okay. That's kind of what I'm imagining at this point. Applying the genomic knowledge of a different species, which, are basically proxies, to the body patterning genes of sea stars, we found activity only in the head genes across the entire body, not the tail genes. Oh, we did find some tail genes at the edges. So basically, head genes are all over the place. And I chose rather than ongoing changes resulting in the eventual elimination of a head region in their radial body plan, headless layout, thought to have connects to previously assumed, okay? And then elimination of a head region is headless. They evolved to completely lack a trunk. And okay, the trunk was messing me up. So trunk was messing me up because it's actually just implied, right? Because the trunk is in between. This was the part that was messing me up. Okay, and consists primarily of a head region. It's just a head with no trunk. And that's because the posterior genes are limited to the edges, I guess. Now let's look at A, prevalence. Okay, which kind of makes sense, although I don't like the wording. Posterior genes are responsible for the star-like layout. And then this other echinoderms is messed up. This whole comparison is completely messed up, which is why I didn't choose it. But they are primarily responsible. The primarily responsible is also unsupported, now that I think about it. Okay. All right, so painful, and I got the right answer. But that just required quite a bit of. I just needed a little bit more time to be able to actually explain the answer. But yeah, wow, that was a rough one. Okay, and then the other one that messed me up was the by contrast. So I'll just talk about that real quick. Yeah, so my prediction was there as a result or whatever, they use specialized muscles to draw oxygen, and this triggers a glow, basically. Therefore, and then when I made my prediction, I changed the word when to if. Therefore, if this firefly stops drawing in oxygen, the glow stops. And that is the key part. If you say if, then you can't say therefore. But then in conclusion is also really strange because it's not an argument. It's a phenomenon. So that's also why you shouldn't choose D. It doesn't say if, and it's not an argument. Therefore, you shouldn't use conclusion. But then you are allowed to say by contrast because there's a contrast of 2 conditions. Okay, there is the drawing oxygen, and then when they stop drawing oxygen. Right? So then it's like if then. There's like 2 if-thens, and they are contrasting if-thens. So you are allowed to say it by contrast. So it just messed me up because my prediction sounded more like D, but then this just sounded so awkward. because it's not an argument. So it just took me a while to process that. All right, but besides that, I still got everything. I mean, I still got everything correct. So at this point, it's me just being pedantic and just sort of being academic about it all. So, guys, I hope that you know, if you solved practice 8 already, I hope you enjoyed the test first of all, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Today was a kind of janky stream just because I didn't know how many questions would actually be reused from practice test 1 to 3. So it really kind of like I was sort of modifying in real time the way that I would stream, and that messed up my time management. That messed up everything. But hopefully, with practice tests 9 and 10, I'm just gonna commit to acting out what it would be like on my first time seeing these questions, and I'm gonna try not to waste too much time doing that. And hopefully, that'll make for a better stream for practice tests 9 and 10. I'll probably not do practice tests 9 and 10 until next week. So, you know, it's Thursday where I am. It's Wednesday in the States. So maybe starting on Sunday where I am, Saturday in the States. Probably not Sunday to be realistic. More like Monday where I am. I'll finish this off, practice tests 9 and 10 next week. Okay, if this video has been helpful for you, please hit that like button to tell the YouTube algorithm that you like this kind of stuff, but also to let other people know about these kinds of videos. And you could also subscribe to my channel if you'd like to be notified of future videos. Also, if you'd like to support my channel, support me, consider joining my channel membership, which is a paid membership. I just do for paid members, I do weekly members only streams where we can just chat in a semi-private conversation, and I can give you tips or help you with your homework or whatever you bring to the table. I can just help you with. Okay, it's for 30 minutes. There's an open office hours for 30 minutes every week, and then there's a members only office hours for 30 more minutes every week. So that's just the way I would give back to you guys for supporting me. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, despite the jankiness of the stream, you'll be able to figure out the thought process and my strategies or for approaching these different kinds of questions, and including what I do when I'm panicking, when I'm having to struggle with really, really hard questions. Moosh, thanks for thanks for just joining and just the moral support. I'm glad that I could help. So yeah, good luck on practice test 8. And hope, and if anybody has any questions on this, you know, just shoot me comments in the YouTube videos or join the Discord server where you can chat with me there too. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep on learning, keep on growing. Peace.